Good afternoon. Happy Friday, football fans. Welcome to the Red River Roundup Friday edition. I'm your host, Marshall Leffler. October 17th, and we'll have a full slate of Friday games taking place this evening, but wanted to recap some of the top games that took place around the state last night on Thursday. And also, we have two really special interviews for you. We have the head coach of the Bunkie Panthers, 7-0, Jimmie Hillman. He's going to join us in a minute to recap the win over Buckeye last night and preview the Week 8 matchup against the Gina Giants. Coming up after that, Mason Jordan, the quarterback for the Montgomery Tigers. He's a top passer in the state this season. He's going to join us to preview their game against St. Mary's tonight, which will be on 446 Sports. So let's take a look quickly and show you some of the key games that took place last night. Evangel 59, Benton nothing. That was a matchup of two top five quarterbacks in terms of passing yards, Peyton Houston and Malachi Ziegler. Eagles get a shutout win over the Tigers. Sterlington 50, North Webster 7. Was able to watch a good bit of that game. Of course, the Panthers, your defending state champs in Division III non-select. They looked in control against North Webster last night. They've got a running back that's new to the program this year, Xavier Ross-Strohmile. He's doing really well for them in the backfield, really added an extra dimension to their offense, and the Panthers look strong again through 7 weeks. OCS 52, Beekman Charter nothing. This is another game that I watched a good bit of, but really after halftime, there wasn't much to see. The Eagles come out really impressive and take care of business in district against the Tigers. They've got two really tall receivers on the outside out of that 1-1 formation, and they've got a really good running back, an experienced quarterback. So the Eagles, they've made runs in Division IV Select the past few years. So far, they've had, a really successful regular season, again, where they just get a lot of wins early and really dominate their district. But I don't think that this OCS Eagles team is too much different than what we're used to seeing out of them. So keep an eye on Ouachita Christian, because I feel like they have a really good chance to be right back where we're used to seeing them. Kinder 50, Oakdale 13, Yellow Jackets stay undefeated. Iowa 42, Washington Marion 16. Iowa also stays undefeated. Vinton 48, Pickering 12. And then Westlake, they get back, come back in a big way and defeat the Iota Bulldogs 35-21. Northwest 43, Northwest Raiders 43, Church Point Bears 33 in the Acadiana area. And Westgate, they continue their winning streak 48-0 over Rain. Franklinton 33, Abbeville 30 out of the North Shore area. The Demons back in action on Thursday like they have been previously this season, but they come back late in the second half, take care of Abbeville 33-30. Kaplan 27, Southern Lab 18. A very interesting score. Kaplan has slowly throughout October kind of made a few people around the state pay attention, and they get a great win over the Kittens last night. U-High 57, Glen Oaks nothing. Dunham 49, Northeast nothing. And Northlake Christian 14, Pope John Paul nothing. That was a huge district matchup in 2A for those two teams. That was in Slidell at Pope, and Wolverines get several interceptions. I don't think they allowed any passing yards in the first half. And so really a kind of a program-defining win here under James Willis to go on the road and get a district win against Pope John Paul. That'll put the Wolverines in the driver's seat of that district. Amite 20, Pine 6, matchup of two teams that we feel will win some playoff games here in a couple weeks. And so that was a good matchup between those two teams. And also in the greater New Orleans area last night, Riverdale 45, Higgins 12. So Riverdale continues their hot start and really a pretty good performance as they go through the regular season. So those are some of the key scores from around the state that took place last night. Of course, just about everybody will be in action starting at about 3:30 this afternoon, and we'll be in full swing on Friday. So hopefully that can catch you up on some of the action that took place last night, and wherever you are tonight, be sure to check us out tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. We'll go live and recap everything that we can that happened around the state on Friday night. So now we're going to bring on head coach Jimmie Hillman of the Bunkie Panthers and have him recap what their big win against Buckeye last night and take a peek at Week 8 versus the Gina Giants. Panthers head coach Jimmie Hillman. Panthers got a win last night at Buckeye, and Coach Hillman, that seemed like a game that y'all were able to control by establishing that power run game, taking the deep ball down the sidelines, down the middle when you had the chance, and really just using your speed on defense. But an overall, solid performance let them score there late in the second half. But you're sitting here at 7-0 again this season, and that's got to feel pretty good.
Yeah, no, look, it's good. Anytime you come away with a win, there's always going to be things that you want to improve on, but at the end of the day, a win's a win. So we're happy about it. Thought we played well in all three phases. Had a block punt, had a couple of big plays on offense, and a takeaway and some tackles for loss on defense. So all three phases did well. 7-0. Guys are excited about it. We know the task at hand, but we're definitely excited to be where we're at right now. Everybody said we lost all those guys from last year. We weren't going to, be able to be where we're at here. But here we are, 7-0 again.
And to kind of go on what you just said there, the top end of this too deep for your team does look a little different than the team that was able to win so many regular season games last year. But it seems like while there's New Jersey numbers in some of those key spots, that your approach and your coaching staff's approach has been the same with what you want those guys to do now that they're the main guys doing it.
Yeah, look, and that's always the goal. I mean, that's part of building a program. You want to be able to, lose a really good class like we did and have guys that have been a part of your program come in and not miss a beat. So we've been able to do that. We've got some key leadership spots, of some guys that have played a lot of ball for us that are seniors this year that have done really well, while some of these young guys have kind of grown throughout the season. But yeah, I mean, that's always the goal is when you lose really good players, you want to be able to replace them with other good players and them step in and play. So it's been a lot of fun.
You've had 5 out of 7 games this season where you've held teams to single-digit points, and I'm sure at some of those games where you were way ahead, it was maybe a late touchdown against some of the reserves or things like that. Seems to me when I've watched your team this season, speed has been really the asset on defense. Just guys that can fly to the ball, fly and fill gaps. And then, like I said, on offense, you've got some power run, counter run, look down the sideline to a receiver when you get a matchup, when defenses adjust. What do you think has been, other than the schemes and the program that y'all are trying to instill? And we know Zion Lee, he gets recognition all over the state, the Navy commit, and he deserves it. And you've got Wright and Patterson, the quarterback and wide receiver there, that are making things happen. But who are the guys on this team that we may not hear about, that may not be right there at the top of the box score, but what's making y'all go the way that y'all have gone the past 2 seasons?
Yeah, well, look, offensively, you said it. I mean, Zion, is a phenomenal player, a great leader for us, a guy that we can turn around, hand the ball to, and let him do what he does. I thought he's played really well. I think our offensive line has really improved a lot. We replaced 3 guys on that offensive line from last year, so I think they've improved well. But you said it. I mean, defensively, I mean, that's what we're going to hang our hat on. And there's no secrets in the way that we play. We're going to line up the way we line up. We're going to play a lot of man coverage. We'll get into a couple little looks here and there, but teams know how we're going to line up, how we're going to play. And a lot of these district opponents know our rules and the way that our guys are supposed to play. So, but for us defensively, number 30, Lucas Mose, I mean, that's the guy that makes it go. He does it all for us. He'll play linebacker in the box. He'll play off the edge. He'll play in the secondary. All around, just phenomenal football player. He's our punter. He does everything for us. That guy really makes it go. And his versatility is really what allows us to be +1 in the box a lot of times. Ron Patterson, of course, what he does as a receiver, but is a lockdown corner for us. And then Luke Norman, is the career tackle leader in Bunkie history. He's got over 360 career tackles. plays our Mike Backer spot. And he's just seen a lot of ball. He's got 35, probably getting close to 40 starts in his career. Seen a lot of ball. The game moves slow for him, and he helps our guys get lined up. So they've done a really good job. I'm really proud of number 7, Triple Arwood too. Sophomore, kind of came in late in the fall camp to kind of emerge as a starter, and has done a great job. Flies around, plays with a really high motor, leads the team in tackles right now. Was a little sick last night, still played through it, and he's definitely been a guy that's been a bright spot.
It probably for the last 2 weeks, I would say, talking to guys around the state, that keep up with this league, this week 8 matchup where y'all host the Gina Giants is something that everybody's looking forward to. Of course, you go your separate ways once the playoffs start, but this is going to be a really good district matchup, something that people on the outside are anticipating. Yeah. Last season went really well for the guys in red, and were able to do so on the road. So naturally, you'd think your locker room's feeling pretty confident about what's going to happen here 6 days from now or 7 days from now. But you got through Bunkie Thursday night game, little schedule shift. I saw y'all were in the weight room on Sunday to kind of adjust and get through this game. And now that's in the rear view. And I'm sure all the focus is on Gina now. Coaches, y'all are preparing the way that you normally do. And that's a process that y'all don't abandon. But how do you get those boys back to a 0-0 mindset after they've got to be extremely confident about how they did last year, how they did against Gina last year, and how they've done so far this season?
Yeah, well, look, touching back on last year went really well for us, but all of the little things went well for us too, and we know that. Penalties, turnovers, they had some false starts, things like that, things that are just uncharacteristic. All those things went our way last year, and that's why that score looked like that. That's a great team, a great program. We're excited about it. My favorite thing about this matchup with them is Coach Jay and his program. They do a phenomenal job. There's something, that myself personally and our staff, that's something that we're trying to build here. What they have there, and the last couple of years, I feel like we've done a good job of that. But they're a lot like us in a lot of ways. There's not a lot of secrets. I mean, we know what they're going to do. They know what we're going to do. Both of us will have a couple little wrinkles here and there that we think can help us out, but it's going to come down to key matchups, and the kids got to go play. That's the way they play. That's the way we play. And that's what's exciting about this matchup. But yeah, look, when you take it 1 week at a time and all that good coach talk and all that, but this one's been circled for a long time for us. I know it has for them too. We know the implications. We know that, at the end of the day, one of us will win, one of us will lose, and both teams will still have an opportunity to make deep playoff runs, the same way that we did last year. So it's a great opponent. It's a great test for us to kind of see where we're at and understanding that, if we want to make it to the quarterfinals, semifinals like we did last year, these are the caliber of teams we've got to be able to beat.
You talk about that program at Gina, and it's a program, I think this may be Coach Roark's 11th year or something like that. So the things that you're trying to build at Bunkie, when you say that, when you say we're trying to build something like that, I know it's not going to look the same, but what are some of those important things that you're trying to build? It seems like consistency amongst the coaching staff is always important. Support from the community in the school is important. And then just, having the boys coming through those junior high programs to where they're ready to play. But what are the things that you're trying to build as you settle in and lead this Bunkie program for the long term?
Yeah, well, look, like you said, number one, community involvement. They have a phenomenal community, just like us. So that's a huge piece of it. For me, when I look at them and their program, I joke all the time, if you go down to Gina, Louisiana on a Saturday in the fall, you'll watch 4th and 5th graders run the same offense and run the same defense, and they play football. They value football in that community. And they do a great job being very linear in their program, from varsity to JV to freshman to junior high, even into those early years of youth football. It's all in line, and that's all through Coach Jay and his staff and what they've been able to build. So that's something that we value a lot here as well. Being a 7th through 12th school, we run our junior high program, so we have those guys, in our program from the time that they're 12 years old. So teaching them the little things about, the way we stretch, the way we practice, the way we go about our business, learning that at a young age, so that whenever they do start to grow and come into our system, offense and defense, things will all, you always kind of base out of, certain type of sets, and you'll have core principles, but things change based on personnel. But understand the way that we want to play, the way that we go about our year, any good program, it's a 12-month deal, so getting them at a young age and making sure that they understand, look, this is what it's about, to be a Bunkie Panther. That's key. And, we're starting to get to the point where, our freshmen and sophomores now are guys that have been through, junior high football with me and our staff, so they're really starting to understand, the way that we go about things. And you're seeing some of those guys, hit the field now early.
You've got, of course, Gina in week 8, Vidalia and Marksville to, district games to wrap up the regular season. Both of those teams and Gina as well all include guys that have really been, individual efforts have been strong on offense for all those squads this season. So do you like the way that this district schedule stacks up towards the end, to where you're, there's really no off week tuning up for it, because you've got somebody on the other side on offense that is going to make something happen?
Yeah, no, look, I think we've got a very competitive district. I like the way that it sets up for us. Of course, Marksville is a big rivalry game for us, being the cat skin. I think it's been 78, 79-ish years that it's been played. So, being able to host that, of course, that'll be a Thursday as well. So, to end the regular season with them in week 10, that's a big one for us. And then, like you said, Caldwell and Buckeye, two teams that we've faced already, but they're solid programs. They're teams that have done well, have had a history of winning, and so, yeah, there's no off weeks. You take it one week at a time, and, if you win or lose, move on to the next one. So,
and of course, coaches, y'all are taking it one week at a time, and hopefully the players are too. But looking a few weeks ahead at this playoff bracket, assuming that y'all are in a good spot to find a spot somewhere in there to be in that postseason, going through some of the teams that y'all faced last season, Amite, Dunham, Jewel, Sumner. These are teams that, though those three in particular, are right back this year, right back having similar seasons, and y'all are battling for power points in that D3 select bracket. But some things will happen. We're not sure where all that'll shake out after week 10,
right.
But kind of knowing that whether or not you get a bye like you did last year, that it will be really established programs similar to what you've built in your time at Bunkie. Yeah. Is this a bracket that excites you? Is it a bracket that kind of keeps you thinking about it 12 months out of the year, or are you just ready to face off either the first or second round, depending on your bye, and just prepare that week and do what y'all do, playing man-to-man defense and being a power running team on offense?
Yeah, look, it's definitely something that we think about from that I think about from a year-long standpoint, for sure, because of, like you said, the type of programs that it are that's in it. Of course, Dunham, LCA, Notre Dame, Catholic New Iberia, Amite, there's Jewel Sumner. I mean, there's so many great, not just teams, but great programs in this division. So there's no, you don't just catch lightning in a bottle in select Division III. I mean, you got to have a program and a team that understands how to win in November, how to get to those points. I think that was key for us last year, was, making it to the quarterfinals, making it to the semifinals, getting that experience, so that the guys that are here, that are in the building, that were a part of that, understand what it takes, understand what it's about. And that's something that fuels us all year long. So, you're starting to get to the point now where you can look a little bit to see where teams are. Of course, a lot of the teams in the top half of our power ratings play each other here in the next few weeks. So, things will continue to shake out. But once week 10 gets here, we'll really kind of start looking at, all right, this is what it looks like. But yeah, I mean, if our district is tough, our playoff bracket is even tougher. I mean, there ain't no off weeks there either. So if we're blessed to get a bye, we've been through that for 2 years now. Otherwise, we'll get a solid opponent in the first round of the playoffs.
Get you out here on this question. We mentioned before we went on air, just the unique and really a cool place that Bunkie is. My family gets to spend some time there on the weekends, and you go up and down, the highway that runs through town, red and white in every store. Just so much pride in the program, and I'm sure that what you've done in the past few years is a big part of that. But coming from Acadia Parish, playing college football in Rapides Parish, and then making your way over to Avoyelles. What's been your experience just settling in Bunkie and really taking this program to where you're kind of the face of it now, and a lot of the reasons why the Panthers are playing so well and why the fans are so engaged right now is because of, like we mentioned a few minutes ago, the things that you've built. Just if you can, just tell me a little bit about the community that you've settled into and the way that your family fits in there, then allows you to do your job so successfully.
Yeah, look, we have a phenomenal community. It really kind of feels like home for me, honestly. Being from a small town, Iota, Louisiana. When I was in high school, we weren't very good, but everyone was at the games. Stands were always filled. I mean, the community was so behind that program, so behind us. That's all I ever knew. So whenever seeing Bunkie kind of from afar in my early years coaching as an assistant, and then now being able to be a part of it, it's phenomenal. And it means a lot to the kids too. Of course, winning helps. Winning helps put people in the stands and all that good stuff. We understand that. But not just the financial support, but it means a lot to a kid to show up to a game. They work all year long to play this game and to look up and to see the stands filled. And see the grove packed with people and stuff like that, man. It's a phenomenal community that really, like you said, just a lot of pride. Just a lot of pride in this town, in this program. I'm glad that I'm a part of it. I'm glad that I've been able to help, kind of restore some of that pride, I guess you could say, into it. And but man, for me, it's about these kids and the job that they've done. I'm just doing everything I can to kind of put them in the best position and teaching some things along the way that high school football did for me. But it's all about these kids and what they've done, and that's really what's led to our success here.
Well, Coach, we are so proud of what the Panthers have done. And like I said, from a small town in Sinlaw to Friday nights in New Orleans, Shreveport, everywhere in between, people are talking about your team and your program as y'all racked up wins these past few years. And again, people everywhere are going to be very much looking forward to this matchup against the Giants in Bunkie next week. So good luck for that game. Like I said, I know a lot of people will be watching it. We thank you so much for your time again, and good luck as you finish district and head into the playoffs.
Yes, sir. I appreciate that.
Thanks to Coach Jimmie Hillman with the Bunkie Panthers, 7-0 on a roll again this season. And that week 8 matchup when Gina comes to town is going to be a really good one. Like I said, those two teams will go into non-select and select brackets once the playoffs start. But both teams will probably be there because they usually have been recently. And Coach Hillman's a big reason why the Panthers are on a roll. So keep an eye on Bunkie. All right, we are going to move now and talk to Montgomery starting quarterback for the Montgomery Tigers, Mason Jordan, who is 5th in the state right now in passing yards. He's joined by head coach Taylor Williams of the Montgomery Tigers. And Mason, it's been, I'm sure, a really exciting season for you through the first 6 weeks. Got that 3-3 record, and you got a lot of district games in front of you. But just take a moment and tell us what this season has been like, what your career has been like, and what do you think are the big reasons that have brought you to this point where you're on a statewide list where everybody in Louisiana sees your name and sees your team name?
Well, I've been playing football for like 11 years, so I've been doing fine. I've been doing good the whole time, so I already got the experience in it. And then my first 2 years of high school, I broke my collarbone and tore my AC joint, so I didn't really get to play them 2 years. Then junior year, that was a big year, had a good year. And then senior year, just all clicked together.
Yeah, and really, and I'm sure your coach would agree that this offense is made to click when it works and when it's all installed. And Coach Taylor, you've had a few years now to get this offense where you want it to be. I'm sure that a lot of that is something that you expect to see the success, not only yards, but touchdowns, wins, staying in games and competing like that. But what, other than what you've been able to do, we've seen your film, we know your talent, and it's clear that you're a leader on that team. Other than what you've been able to do, who else has been key in your season so far and the success that you've had, at least in the statistical categories?
Well, probably the wide receiver one, probably Hayden Gainey, was big in a couple games. And Eli Bullock was also big. And my line gives me a bunch of time to at least be able to read the defense and throw the ball. So,
Coach Taylor, I know you've worked a lot with offensive lines before, and like I said, you've had a few seasons now to really install this offense and make it look like you're specific. What have you Mason mentioned things clicking this year. Is that something that you've seen this season?
Yes, and it really has clicked, which was kind of unexpected because we graduated 12 seniors from last year. So really only one offensive lineman came back and only one receiver. Everybody else is somebody new. So for us to get our foot in the way we did, it was kind of something you didn't expect. You expected a lot more growing pains, but this group's just ran with it. A lot of that goes to Mason being the normal face and giving them the confidence to be able to go do, which then it gives him confidence. And it's just all meshed really well together on the offensive side of the ball.
So Mason, based on what he just said, you lost 12 seniors last year. You're used to seeing 4 and 5 wide sets. So throughout your 4 years of playing as a high schooler, throughout all of those snaps, I'm sure you've seen a lot of different things come and go. Y'all do a lot of different, formations pre-snap, even though the routes may end up similar, but a lot of different linemen, a lot of different receivers. What do you think has been the consistent things over the years that despite guys moving in and out and things changing, that you've continued to be able to be consistent under center?
I did not understand.
What's allowed you to be?
What's been consistent? With everything changing, what's been consistent?
Like the formations?
Like you've been in this system for 4 years now.
Being familiar with play calls or being familiar with how guys are going to execute?
Oh, well, I mean, we pretty much have we've had some new plays and some old plays. We have like everything all just runs through, like, not the old plays, but they run together. And I think last year we had a couple different sets because we had different receivers and different people that's more capable of doing it. So we had to not run some of them this year. So, now with this year, we don't really take much snaps under center. So we just do like 5 wide or 4 wide. So I think it's been pretty good.
And Coach, how do you continue to coach Mason hard? He's, like I said, he's had a lot of snaps, he's had a lot of experience, and he's a leader on the field and probably in the locker room as well. How do you continue to push him to continue to get better?
Well, it's to the point now where he knows what I expect of him. So he knows when he messes up, we can kind of look at each other. Not much has to be said. He'll say, "I know, Coach," whatever, such and such. But he still knows that his expectations are probably higher than anybody's, which is what's going to come when you're the quarterback. You're touching the ball every play. But, expectations are a privilege, and he takes it and runs with it.
So kind of looking at the last 4 weeks of this regular season, got a big game Friday against St. Mary's. That'll be a home game for y'all. Like I said, 3-3 on the regular season, and got some teams in that district that are off to good starts. You got LaSalle. We know Logansport is going to be good year in and year out. St. Mary's, they will also they've shown they can prove a challenge. Mason, what do you think is very important going in these last 4 regular season weeks to get back, to get it into a winning record and really finish strong when you got some tough teams left in district?
Well, that I mean, most every team's going to come and blitz and try to get after me and try to get the ball out of me or my running back's hands. So important. Offensive line needs to communicate, pick up the blitzes, and the running back needs to communicate with them, pick up the blitzes, all that. Just give me enough time. And like the receivers need to get the routes open quickly or run them quickly. And then if they run them quickly and they blitz, then it's just better.
And Coach, I'll ask you, that's interesting that, Mason's recognizing blitzes now. Is that something that y'all expect from pretty much every team because of the rate at which y'all score?
Yeah, they're going to try to move us off our spots, get us out of our game. It just comes with the territory, but we like to go fast. We don't huddle. We want to go, and it's just something that we got to take care of. But it's something we do see normally is people trying to move us and get us off our spots and try to mess up our rhythm and timing.
Mason, we see QB next to your name a lot, but you also play the other side of the ball at linebacker. Defensively, what do you use to bring that quarterback mindset over on the other side of the ball?
Well, as a quarterback, you got to watch a lot of film. So whenever I watch film, I usually know what play is coming on the defense. Or like whenever I'm on there or they're on there. And then really, like I just say the play out loud, like reverse right or dive left or something, and I just try to get in their heads whenever that happens.
Coach, you've seen, like we mentioned, back half of this schedule is going to face some teams with some winning records that look to be in the playoffs, no matter what side of the bracket they're on. You also started off the season playing up, that annual game with Grant and really challenging yourselves as a team. How do you like how the home stretch of this season stacks up? Got a chance last year in the playoffs, won that first round game against Vinton, and then went up against the eventual runner-up and a team that's been to the Superdome a lot. What's your mindset looking forward? We've got, Mason and his teammates having success so far, but how do you finish with a winning record, and how do you prepare to go further in the playoffs than you have been?
I mean, you got to take each game one game at a time. The first half of the schedule did battle test us a little bit. Some good teams, Grant being 4A, Elton's having a good year. And we just got to take what we've learned in those challenges and just install that into each game and take it one game at a time. Good things are going to happen. Bad things are going to happen. We just got to do our job to the best of our ability. The kids have done a great job of growing with so many young ones having to play, and you just got to go play ball and let the chips fall where they may.
Speaking of playing ball, Mason, football is not your only sport there at Montgomery. I know that you've been on the baseball diamond for a few years, and you're one of the top athletes at that school. How do you think that year-round schedule of being a multi-sport athlete helps you at the QB position and at outside linebacker too?
Well, whenever you play baseball, you throw the ball. I throw the ball a lot because I'm a pitcher too, so that builds up arm strength. And also, like, you play against a lot of people that you play against in football, so you get to know them. And sometimes you get to know them, you get some stuff out of them. About their upcoming season or their team or something like that.
All right, so Friday night right here on 446 Sports, Montgomery will be hosting the St. Mary Tigers. Be sure to catch that game Friday at 7. Mason, again, congratulations. I know everybody in Cenla is so proud of you to pull up that list every Monday morning and see your name right at the top of it in that passing yards category. But if you could say one thing to the state of Louisiana while they've been watching what you've been doing as a quarterback this season, what do you want to say to everybody else about your team, your program, your coaches, and what y'all want to do in your senior year?
If I had to say something, I'd say just keep watching and keep believing, keep trusting.
Well, look, it's a fun offense to watch. I've gotten to see y'all play for a few years now, and y'all do a lot of things on the offensive side of the ball that coaches all over the state look at. And I know that y'all are a proud group out there, and everyone in Cenla is so proud of what you've been able to do, and Coach Taylor, your whole team's been able to do. So good luck Friday night and the rest of the season. We thank y'all so much for your time today.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Thanks to Mason Jordan and Coach Taylor Williams with the Montgomery Tigers. Again, that home game is tonight at 7 p.m. That's right here on 446 Sports, Battle of the Tigers, St. Mary's at Montgomery. I want to thank our guest today that joined us, Coach Jimmie Hillman of the Bunkie Panthers, and also Coach Taylor Williams and quarterback Mason Jordan of the Montgomery Tigers. So thanks, everyone, for hanging out with us here on Friday afternoon. Hope you enjoy Friday Night Lights wherever you are tonight. And remember, we'll be right back here Saturday morning, 8 a.m. live, where we'll recap everything that happened around the state of Louisiana in high school football. You've been watching the Red River Roundup with Marshall Leffler on 446 Sports.